You may be shocked to hear me say this, but I don't want you to restore your marriage after an affair. I don't. And I'm going to tell you exactly why, so stick around. Hey, my name's Daisy Chuako. I am a marriage and relationship coach and affair recovery specialist. I work with couples and individuals around the world, helping them to restore intimacy, rebuild trust, and create the marriage of their dreams, even after an affair. And I started this based on my own journey in my own marriage, where we went through a hellish time of infidelity, and was able to bring radical transformation to our marriage and create the marriage of our dreams. And since then, I've been on a mission to understand the journey that we've been on and create a blueprint that I can now help other couples to work with and get the results that we did. Now, if you're new here and you really enjoy the content and you really feel that this is going to help you in your marriage journey, then hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're notified every time I release a new video. Now, here's why I'm saying that I don't want you to restore the marriage that you had after an affair. And oftentimes I see a lot of people using this word, restore your marriage. You know, a lot of people use it in church, restoration. It sounds like a very, very positive word, and it can be in different situations. But there's something unique about an affair that happens in marriage, that actually restoration absolutely is not what we want. And let me explain why. When infidelity happens, when there is an affair, it kills the old marriage. It kills intimacy. It completely eradicates trust. It completely eradicates the connection, the emotional connection, the sanctity of the marriage. That marriage is dead. And we also have to look at what marriage did we have that allowed us to get to this point of death. What was going on in the marriage? Where were the gaps that allowed us to get to this point of death? And now that it's dead, do we really want to resurrect the old marriage that had the gaps that allowed us to get to this point? Do you follow? You see, restoration is all about bringing back the old, going back to the former, going back to what was. And now that that is dead, going back to the former actually takes away the opportunity that this terrible storm has given us. The opportunity that has been presented to us, even in the midst of this storm, is a blank piece of paper, right? The old is dead, it's gone away. And we've decided that we're staying and we want to have a marriage together still. Now we've got a blank piece of paper. And this is what I encourage people to focus on. How can we create the new instead of looking at how we can go back and get the old? And I see many couples doing this where they just quickly want to rush and just go back to normal. They quickly want to rush and just go back to the status quo. They quickly want to rush and just go back to some form of image of what they used to have. And they do this because it feels safe. They know what they had before, even if they weren't happy, even if it wasn't meeting their needs, even if they weren't fulfilled, they just want to go back because they knew it. It was comfortable and it was safe. And so that attitude and approach stops people from doing the work that is necessary. And what I find is that people just do a patchwork and then lean back into what was. We go back to our old behaviors, our old approaches, our old understanding, our old relationship habits. And the danger of that is that we end up still in a marriage that is open to attack. And so, absolutely, I do not want you to restore your marriage. Now, the word restoration can come into play here, and I will use it in terms of let's restore you both as individuals. Let's heal. Let's restore your emotional stability. Let's do that. But when it comes to the marriage, we're going to be looking at creating new. We're looking at a new creation, not restoration. And like I said before, Infidelity completely strips away. It is a crisis. It is a devastating storm. But for the couple who choose to stay together, there is one benefit, one golden light available to you, and that is the opportunity to create a marriage that is stronger than before the affair, that is stronger than that old marriage, right? And so, what I would encourage you to do is take that blank piece of paper, and as you go through restoring yourself emotionally and psychologically, the next stage then is to write on that blank piece of paper what you both want for this marriage, this new marriage, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, how you're going to be, what your needs are, how you're actively going to fulfill those needs for each other. Let's start to lean into our desire for the future, not restoring the past. Let's start to lean into the marriage that we actually truly desire. And now, this time, we can be so intentional about creating it, about doing the work to create it. It's almost like having the opportunity to design your own marriage. Many people at the beginning will get married and almost just let it fall into place and open their eyes one day and decide whether actually things have worked out or they haven't. This time, with this new opportunity, you get to create it exactly how you want to be, bearing in mind that everything that you put in has a correlating consequence. And so, if you can just be clear on the marriage that you want, then all we need to do is work out the actions, the habits, the behaviors, the mindsets that you need to have, and you will get that marriage. And now, as you are working together and healing together, they are the conversations you want to be having. And that's the work that you're going to be doing. You see how creation causes an action, it causes an intentionality, it causes thinking forward, thinking ahead, right? It causes you to really have a deep dive into what you truly want this time, and then put in the actions to make it happen. It's moving forward. But when we encourage couples to restore the old, it's just leaning back into poor relationship habits that we weren't happy with in the first place and has brought us to this point of devastation. And listen, this was the approach that my husband and I took when we were looking to heal from infidelity and establish our marriage. And of course, we had that same desperation to just get things as close to back to normal as we possibly can. Let's just see if we can sweep this away and just try and find our normal lives again, and almost pretend like this didn't happen. But we knew that if we really wanted to succeed in our marriage after an affair, we had to create a new one. There was no going back. And so we went as far as writing a whole new marriage contract. I remember us sitting down and really having a very honest conversation about what it is we wanted in our marriage, what we needed to feel fulfilled in our marriage, and how we were going to actively show up for each other to do that. Right? We had to change things. We had to put in new ways and approaches into our marriage. We had to communicate differently. We had to show up differently. We had to love differently. We had to do it in a new way that would now align with the new marriage that we wanted. That by far was one of the most impactful approaches that has allowed us to create the marriage that we have today. And so that's why I'm so passionate in encouraging the couples that I work with and the people within my community to really focus on the new creation, not the restoration. Let me know what your thoughts are on that in the comments. And so listen, if this is something that you want help with, as always, I'm here for you. Start off by booking a free 30-minute breakthrough call, and then let's talk about how my affair recovery program can help you to rebuild trust, restore intimacy, and create the marriage of your dreams even after an affair. I'll see you in the next video.